Hi everybody, thanks for checking out this video. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, or if you want to check out my website, click on the link in the description or check out becomingnobody.org. If you want to watch previous videos I've done on the Tao De Ching and other verses in there, there's a link below in the playlist in the description. So today we are on to verse 3. Verse 3 says, not exalting, in this translation, there's many different translations that vary slightly. Not exalting the gifted prevents quarreling. Not collecting treasures prevents stealing. Not seeing desirable things prevents confusion of the heart. The wise, therefore, rule by emptying hearts and stuffing bellies, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. If people lack knowledge and desire, then it's best not to interfere. If nothing is done, then all will be well. So, in our society, there's a huge, worldwide really, as things become more modernized, there's a huge emphasis placed on exalting the gifted. And it does start quarreling because we exalt celebrities, we exalt athletes. And it doesn't mean that they can't be good at what they do and they can't make money for what they do and they can't be appreciated, but we make it, media makes it, the news makes it so that that's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be famous, or you're supposed to be well known or popular on Instagram, and those are the people that we exalt. And that creates, it really adds to divisiveness and inharmony because it perpetuates the illusion of separate entities. It gets more people entrenched in ego. It breeds fear and insecurity, and it basically perpetuates division and disunity because then people think they're not as good as, they should be better, they're different, they're not as pretty or as handsome as these models or celebrities that everyone's supposed to look like. And so exalting the gifted, it just means not putting people on a pedestal. Doesn't mean you don't respect and appreciate for them for what they do. Doesn't mean you can't like or enjoy them. But don't get so attached to them being a sort of god or being. And then it says, not collecting treasure prevents stealing. And a way to look at this in modern times is like people hoard cash. We're taught, a lot of people are taught that it's all about making money. It's all about having more wealth, having more stuff. And so collecting treasures, also it adds to the disharmony and the dysfunction. It doesn't mean that money inherently is bad in itself, but the attachment and emphasis on it all the time and opposed to other things. There's a quote by the Dalai Lama that talks about we sacrifice our health to make money and then use the money to maintain our health. And we live as if we're never going to die. And then we die having never really lived. So then it says, not seeing desirable things prevents confusion of the heart. And so that's an interesting one. That's saying sort of that things brought before you that are desirable, say fine jewelry, fine dining, things of the opposite sex that really attract you. They could be called temptations in big biblical terms, temptations towards sin or whatever. I think that's an interesting one because not seeing desirable things prevents confusion of the heart. So when I see sensual things, sensual gratification objects that are really enticing, my heart becomes confused. I'm like, wow, maybe that's what I really want. Maybe I don't want to work on my journey. Maybe I just want to go play a video game or go for sex, or maybe I just want to eat a lot of food. So displaying those objects to others, maybe I just want a lot of jewelry, but displaying that to others where it is kind of, causes some pain, or you could say some sin, is if I'm trying to get other people caught in that too. If I'm trying to show other people that that's the way it's supposed to be. But I find it interesting because ultimately, if you're totally free, as Jesus said, if you're in the world but not of it, you should be able to be with everything without being stuck and attached to certain things. So if I have to push anything away, that means it's got me. So that might be necessary for a time. But if I have to go hide somewhere and not see beautiful women or not see money or not see nice cars or not see drugs and alcohol or whatever my vice is because I can't handle it, I'd get caught in it, it would confuse me, hurt me, then I'm not truly free from that. Because when I'm totally free, I could be everywhere and with anything and it'll be okay. And so then it goes on to say, the wise therefore rule by emptying hearts and stuffing bellies, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. And so what that's kind of saying is losing your desires, goals, endeavors. And I had wrote in here when I read it, acquaint thyself with him, with the one, and be at peace. So the wise rule by emptying hearts, weakening ambitions, which means less of the things you think you need, who you think you are, your attachments of yourself, what you identify as, your thought systems, weakening your ambitions that I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to get this done to be okay. Stuffing bellies, strengthening bones. So strengthening your spirit as opposed to strengthening your ego. And then it finishes with, it says, if people lack knowledge and desire, then it's best not to interfere. If nothing is done, all will be well. And what that means is, as you sort of start on a spiritual path, I remember when I had first gotten into recovery, as an example, for addiction to drugs and alcohol, and I had started seeking out God, I wanted everybody else to too. I'd share all kinds of things about it, push stuff on people that didn't want it, give them books they'd never read, or send them things on social media they'd never read. And so what it's saying here is, if people lack the knowledge and desire, who am I to interfere with their path? It's best to let them be as they are. And then it says, if nothing's done, then all will be well. Because how do I know what's supposed to be? They might never, they might be at a way different stage of their spiritual evolution than I am. You might be at a way higher stage of your spiritual evolution than I am. So something you might tell me, I might not be ready to hear. I might not understand. I might be a very crude person. I might have had 50 human births. You might have had 1,000 human births and you're ready to graduate to some other plane. So it's best to let things, not to force. It's best not to force. And that could apply to anything in daily life. If people lack knowledge and desire, lack understanding, whatever, allow them to be as they are, because how presumptuous of you or how presumptuous of me to think that I know what somebody else should do or how somebody else should be.